Before we start, some people wasn't here about the dinner, potluck dinner thing.
Yeah, there's a lot on Friday. I'll
I
pass
thought
the
the page was Thursday.
No, it's Friday.
I'll pass the paper
Sorry.
back around. It's okay. I'll pass the paper back around if you didn't sign up, you can if you want to.
We changed the costumes to Thursday.
Yeah.
We changed it just for Ashley. You did?
Friday. What day are we
I don't
doing? We're doing top 10.
There's
People ripping their costumes and everything.
I mean, it's Halloween on Friday, so that kind of makes more sense. Do it Friday.
Maybe Jason will want to do it tomorrow.
Is Jason gonna dress up?
Somebody says they were going to the Jason. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Miss Mayor, so look up.
What?
We can vote later. Let's vote later.
If y'all want to restrain a costume, that's fine.
I'll put on the most.
Sure.
Oh my
Alright,
God.
All right, Amanda's gonna start.
So this is my first training that I've ever done, so I'm a little bit nervous. If my voice shaking, I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about the phase system, and we're gonna discuss what the phase system is, the different phases within the phase system, the daily checklist, the token economy system, and then you'll have a chance to ask questions. So what is the phase system? I like Christy's little ball thing, so anybody want to read?
The phase system program is designed to meet each individual resident's unique needs at their own pace. The program can be completed at a minimum of 20 weeks. Phase 1 is 4 weeks minimum. Phase 2 is 10 weeks minimum. And phase 3 is 6 weeks minimum. Each phase has specific expectations that may be met before a resident can move on to the next phase of the program. A resident's progress towards individual treatment goals are evaluated. Transparency documentation on the daily checklist. Cannot stress this enough. The house parent must document well on the daily checklist for the residents to receive the best possible treatment for their needs. If it is not documented, it is not.
Read that last part again. What is that?
Yeah, everybody read it together.
Everybody together.
It did not happen.
All right, so phase 1 is our orientation and initial treatment planning phase. All right, who wants to read next?
What to expect on phase 1. When a child arrives into our care, they are not sure what to expect. Many emotions are going through their little mind. They may be sad, nervous, or even scared. Most of our residents have experienced trauma or have other adverse childhood experience. The new resident does not know us, and we do not know them. Chances are we are not their first placement, and they believe we are like the rest. As a ministry, it is important that we show each child that we are not like everyone else. We must meet them where they are at and build a relationship to foster the healing process. Building rapport and establishing a foundation takes time. Phase 1 is all about building the foundation for long-term successful treatment.
Okay.
Here you go.
So during the first 4 weeks that a resident is in our care, the house parent should, preferably within the first 72 hours, make sure that the resident's needs are taken care of, such as hygiene products, season appropriate clothing, make sure they have a haircut scheduled, school supplies, and etc. Anything they need to make them successful. Also within the first 4 weeks, we should be building a trusting relationship with the resident, getting to know them, letting them get to know you and how you house parent. If you're unable to attend the master treatment plan, if you have any concerns or opinions, observations that the clinical services needs to know, it's important that you tell us so we can add it into their master treatment plan. And then document accurately on the daily checklist to ensure appropriate treatment and behavior goals can be established to fit the residents' needs. So phase 2 is our active treatment and skill development phase. All right, who wants to read?
I'll do it. When a resident reaches phase 2, they are now acclimated to the program and know what is expected of them. They have identified some of their strengths and coping skills, completed the master treatment plan, established an educational plan, and passed the phase 1 test. From this point forward, the resident must put in the work in order to complete the program successfully. Before moving to phase 3, 75% of the resident's treatment goals must be met. This phase will take a minimum of 10 weeks and is dependent on the resident's participation in their own treatment. When a resident is on phase 2, house parents should make sure the residents attend all therapy sessions and are on time for their appointments. Report any new behaviors to Central Services by documenting on the daily checklist so that their treatment plan can be adjusted accordingly. Attend all monthly progress reviews to ensure accuracy of program completion. This is the best time for house parents to mention any concerns they have regarding a resident's progress. Document accurately on the daily checklist to ensure continual appropriate treatment and behavioral goal progress that fits the resident.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna pass this around. This is the phase 1 test that the residents take before they're able to go to phase 2. So on here, you'll see that, in order to pass this test, they have to know coping skills. They have to know their treatment plan, their behavioral goals, just different things that they need for throughout the program. It's pretty detailed.
Wait.
Okay. And so phase 3 is the maintenance and transition phase. In phase 3, they're just maintaining their goals that they have already established. And we're just making sure that the goals that they have met stay met. So who wants to read about phase 3?
Phase 3 is the final stage of the program before completion. To ensure long-term treatment outcomes, the resident must maintain their progress for 6 weeks before being considered a successful completion. During this phase, residents will continue with counseling, maintain a 2.5 GPA, and begin transitioning towards discharge. When a resident is on phase 3, house parents should continue to make sure the residents attend all therapy sessions and are on time for their appointment. Report any new behaviors to clinical services by documenting on the daily checklist so that their treatment plan can be adjusted accordingly. Attend all monthly progress reviews to ensure accuracy of program completion. This is the best time for house parents to mention any concerns they have regarding a resident's program. Document accurately on the daily checklist to ensure continual appropriate treatment and behavioral goals progress that fits the resident's needs.
Okay, so phase 4 is for our residents who stay after they've completed the program. Unfortunately, many of our residents don't have a foster home or a home to go back to. And so we created this phase for them because it's not fair for them to have to keep doing the program over and over and over when they've already completed it. So at that point, this is their home. So in phase 4, we start teaching them like skill development, how to cook. We start looking at colleges and what they want to do after high school. If they're having trouble in high school, we try to just maintain their grades, make sure they have all the credits that they need to graduate. Okay, so who wants to read phase 4?
Phase 4 is life skills phase for residents who remain at the River Ranch after they have completed the program. The phase allows for the resident to learn practical tools that are necessary for independent and responsible living. During this phase, residents focus on areas such as time management, personal hygiene, job readiness, academic planning, conflict resolution, etc. When a resident is on phase 4, house parents should continue to make sure the resident attend all therapy sessions are scheduled and are on time. Help residents learn daily life skills such as setting alarms for school appointments, preparing meals, encouraging independence in managing daily responsibilities. Attend all monthly progress reviews to ensure residents is maintaining a treatment goal. This is the best time for the house parent to mention any concerns they have in the resident's progress. Document accurately on the daily checklist to ensure continual appropriate treatment and behavioral goal progress that fits the resident's needs.
Thank you.
All right, so did anybody notice something that was on all 4 slides? Yes, on time at their scheduled time, because our kids have 20 sessions and we're a 20-week program. The first 4 weeks is the therapist getting to know the residents. And so they technically have 16 weeks to make sure that they're meeting their goals. And so if they miss 1 week, it's detrimental. So, and then the other thing that was mentioned on all 4 slides is the daily checklist. So we're gonna go over that. I went through and I kind of made up a mock daily checklist. And so, the A means that the resident met expectations for that category. The N means that the resident required extra prompting to meet expectations for that category. The U means that the resident did not meet expectations for that category. And NA is the category does not apply to the resident. It does not help or hurt the resident. So if you look down through there, you'll see a bunch of letters. So counseling on top, you'll see that there's only 1 A, and that's the day that they had counseling. The rest of the days doesn't apply to them. They didn't go to counseling. So mainly I want you guys to look at Thursday. I only put 1 U, and it was for, well, 2 U's for chores and for school. So when I look at Thursday, I can see that they had a pretty good day, except for at school, they got suspended. They didn't get their DSR filled out because they got suspended. And then I think that's it. And then they were a little bit disrespectful to staff and their peers. So if you look on there, it kind of tells the story of how their day went. But when we go over to the staff documentation, I kind of wrote it out for the whole week. I've been seeing a lot of had a great day. That tells me nothing. Each resident has something going on every day. Like they did their tour well, or they had an argument with this resident, they didn't sleep well. They all have some sort of story every single day. It's okay to put that they had a great day. But like if it's their laundry day, we can put did laundry as scheduled. That way we can look and make sure the laundry got done. So in a couple of weeks when they have no clothes, we can be like, oh, well, they haven't did their laundry in 2 weeks. No wonder why. So on Thursday, I just kind of wrote a mock thing. Resident was suspended from school for 3 days. CSI. Once returned from school, the resident was disrespectful to staff and peers for much of the evening. Once apologizing, they did their tour and study hall with no further issue. The end. So the other thing that's on the daily checklist is their consequences from special incidents. So anytime that a resident has consequences or you give them consequences, a special incident needs to be written. Unless it's if it's more than 24 hours, like if it's a 3-day or if they're suspended from school and it's a little bit longer, then it needs to be a special incident. All consequences after they've been approved goes onto the daily checklist. And if they did them that day, then you just put a check mark and then I'll look at it and erase it.
A check mark on like that day, just put a check mark on
Mhm.
okay, consequence done or whatever.
Yeah, well, so on the daily checklist, there is, I was trying to get it to copy and paste on here, but it didn't. But on the daily checklist, there's like the consequence boxes, and then to the side, if you touch it, it'll check mark it.
Oh,
And so I just know that it's completed.
oh,
And then if they complete it, then go down to the bottom and write that they completed it.
okay.
I have noticed this is one thing that we kind of struggle with. I work at the Boys Cottage, sorry, I don't want to call you that. It's just where I work. When there's consequences, we might check it, but we forget to write it down at the bottom that they actually did their consequence. And it's nice to be able to see that and see how they acted during it, because that's how they learn. Okay. And so now we're going to talk about the token economy system. So this is our, what am I looking for? Incentive program. So if they're good, they earn tokens. anybody want to read this? Go ahead.
Token economy is a behavior management system based on the principles of operant conditioning, where residents earn tokens for engaging in desired behaviors. These tokens act as a form of symbolic currency and can later be exchanged for meaningful rewards or privileges. This token system replaces allowance.
Okay, so the basic token rules are all new River Ranch staff have access to tokens to give to the residents. Residents can earn up to 5 tokens per day. This has changed. I'm not sure what it is now. And it does need to be updated. I know they can earn so much for doing extra chores and things. Once a token is earned, we can never take it away from them. They've earned it, it's theirs. If a resident receives a U on the daily checklist or receives a special incident with consequences, tokens for the daily checklist will not be awarded for that day. Only 1 token can be awarded at a time, apart from a positive daily checklist or if they do extra chores. Tokens earned for the day should be documented on the daily checklist by staff on duty. We also, now we have the token economy sheet. I know it also needs to be revamped. But this is how the residents earn their tokens. So all A's are, I'm just gonna say no use. They get 2 tokens. So the therapist gives 1 silver token. If we do a psycho ed group, we give 1 token. We do a token for case management. Dr. Jason has the gold tokens that he can give. And then they can exchange them by going to the token store, or they can cash in their tokens for money. We can give extra privileges such as staying up at night on the weekends for a movie. They can pick their favorite dinner for a token. Staff can do their daily weekly chores for their token. Alright, and that's all I have. Does anyone have questions?
I have a question.
Mhm.
You were talking earlier about, like in their first 72 hours and how we get their hygiene products and stuff. How is clothing inventory? I've noticed like we haven't been using the clothing inventories. How are we doing it differently? How does that look now?
I use the clothing inventories. I don't know what.
We all use the clothing inventory.
Are they just not uploaded?
Well, yeah, like my scanner roughly doesn't work, so I have like this much paper to scan all one time.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So we're still doing them. Are we doing them quarterly?
I do one when they first come, and then anytime they go shopping, there's an additional clothing inventory paper. I just write on there and outline with the rest of the things. And then it's more seasonal than it is quarterly. Like
Okay.
for winter, they have winter clothes. For spring, there's
Yeah.
summer clothes.
Okay.
So once they like, if they get to phase 2, do they stay at phase 2 until that phase is completed? Or do, let's say they go to phase 2 and they get used for like 2 weeks in a row, do they drop back down? Like, how does that work?
They stay on the same, so it's like let's say they're on phase 2 and they're on week 2 and they have a horrible week and they didn't go to therapy, like they would stay on phase 2, week 2 until they decided that they were want to complete the program. And do what they're supposed to do.
Phase 4.
Phase 4 is iffy. There is kinks that need to be worked out because the kids that are on phase 4, they've already completed the program.
Right, so is there a chance that they may have to redo the program? Like saying they just completely taken those back?
We can tweak their treatment plans. So like we can take their privileges from them. Anytime they get in trouble, like they all have TVs now, like a consequences, they don't get their TV. Like Isaac, for the boys, he's the only one with a phone. If he decides that he don't want to do what's expected of him, then he'll lose his phone. So it's kind of like they still have to do their chores. They still have to maintain their room and do what's expected of them the entire time. The only thing that really changes is their treatment plans. Like we focus more on life skills at phase 4 than we do like completing their goals. They have goals, but they're bigger goals.
They get to be on phase 4, they just get the phase 4 privileges taken from them.
Right.
So they're not dropping, but they don't get it. Damian has mentioned, I don't know if he has any other shift, but I know on our shift, he's mentioned that he is phase 4, and that he's completed the program, and that he don't understand why he can't cook, he don't understand why he's not in room 5. Has he talked to you about that?
He hasn't, but he's also in a room by himself.
Right.
He gets his privileges. His stuff's just a little bit different. Like instead of a cell phone, he has a kid's tablet.
Right.
He don't get it very often, unfortunately, but he does have it for when he's being good. He has a TV in his room like everybody else. As far as the cooking, well, his treatment plan just has to be a little bit different. Like we have to tweak this.
I understand that. I was making sure that he understood it.
I don't think it would hurt to every once in a while if you're fixing something that like if there's rolls or something, we can let him wash his hands and put the rolls like on the sheet or something. Let him help prep food. Not just if he's having a good day. Right. Any other questions? I know I didn't go into a whole lot of detail on this one.
Something that we've done and it's whatever, but like, if they have bought like patches for their chores and stuff at the token store, I don't let them use those on days where they gotta use. So like, if you got a U today on your checklist, then you don't get to use your free pass for like staff to use your chore. Staff to do your chore, because what was happening is they were like using it in retaliation, like you got me in trouble today, so I'm gonna make you do my chore and stuff like that, and I didn't think that was just, I didn't, yeah. Yeah. I understand.
I didn't use the room.
I know. All right, so is that what everybody's doing? Like, I'm open to that if everybody's doing the same thing.
Kids don't ever ask the exchange.
This
kid's
very many kids. I think the ones that were given was from the bingo night that we did like a month ago, month and a half ago. So I haven't had any kids buy them. Like we sell the coupons for that. We sell coupons to sale later, but the kids honestly, they like candy and so.
Like, they get 2 tokens. A good check. Like this weekend, I had 3 girls going, I had 3 girls.
Hold on.
They did everything. And plus they get a token for the cleanest room. Yeah, I have each just because room 1 and 3 are clean all the time.
So I will say one thing I would be careful for is, and I feel a lot, is to not give tokens for what's expected.
Well, no, but this was
But-
extra. They
yeah.
picked up the chores for the girls that went home.
So,
They
so
took
now
out
if
the
they pick up,
trash, they
yeah.
did, they did
So-
Chloe's chores for the weekend
Yeah.
and they did Indy's
And-
chores for the weekend.
Yeah.
So that's why I gave them extra, not for
And
what they
I,
did.
the way I would view it, and the way I would say it is that you're given what Chloe, now granted Chloe was here, but
Right,
if a kid
Yeah.
doesn't do their chore
right.
and another kid has to pick it up, well, I'm saying that
But
you're
they don't. do their
kind of
tokens.
earning this
Yeah,
kid.
if they're out, they don't earn tokens for the weekend.
Yeah. So yeah, I do want to, I've heard before that we've given tokens because kids were refusing to take down the trash and they ended up taking down the trash.
I give
yeah,
them
you just gotta-
ones too.
no,
If somebody
no, it is
refuses to
extra,
take
yeah.
it, they're like, you know what, I'll take it. Then I'll give them.
Right.
Yeah.
The one that did somebody else's chore.
Anything or exceptional. And I was thinking too, with the, kind of to piggyback off what, Caleb said. With if they do exchange like their chores and stuff, like if they're on level, no, I was gonna say level 1 restriction, cottage restriction or campus restriction, like then they shouldn't be able to cash them in. Cause it's kind of like, that's a privilege to be able to cash in.
I think that would cover it, because if you get a U, then for that evening, you're on time restriction, well, depending, but
Right.
most of the time.
Use your best judgment.
This kind of follows through with the total thing. Mr. Caleb has started a tab,
Yes.
which has been an issue at Kohler, because if they find one on the floor, then there's a fight, that's mine. With Damien about his spot over a tab that we know nothing about.
Before we had tokens, I drink a lot of Red Bull, so Damien and Colton would ask for my Red Bull tabs. And when they got 5 Red Bull tabs, then I would take them out to get like drinks or whatever, just, and like, if we were riding to school in the mornings and they were being loud, then they'd be like, can I have a Red Bull tab? I'd be like, no. And then if they were good on the way home, I would give it to them. But that was before our token, but I mean, I'll quit, like if it's an issue.
Well, I mean, they literally got to this fight, wasn't they, here, over a Red Bull tab, and we're like, what's the deal with the Red Bull? tab?
Well, that was just something that, far before we had a token system, that was something that I did with the young boys, because they're kids.
Now, I will say,
Mhm.
house parents can have different things that they do, and you can say, hey, I'm not a part of that.
Well, that's what we said.
Yeah.
We didn't say-
Yeah. And so,
Just,
Because
just direct them
Yeah,
to
we
take it up with me,
Took it and eliminated
because like,
yeah,
it was just our little thing, like literally, I literally drink them constantly. So I would be like, hey, if you run over there and I'll even like just do little stuff like, hey, clean up, go, so like, can I have your Red Bull tab? Like, if your room's clean, you can have it. So it was separate from the token store way before the token store started. But I'll be more mindful and let them know that
Well,
like that
just
only
explain
applies.
That's your all thing.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, house parents, whether, like, a big thing with me and Ashley were house parents, was I had kind of like my own little treasure box. Now, this is way before COVID, so I mean, probably 2 years ago. But I mean, I would just stock it with sodas and stuff, and so what it was, sometimes it was easier than, I mean, it would work almost in the same sense of, I would notice like, hey, like some kids really didn't do their chores and it's getting to be bedtime. And the dining room still doesn't look good and the living room doesn't look good. And so I would go that at that point, it was a level system. I would go to my level 5s and be like, hey, if y'all want to, I'll give you a soda if you want to come out here and clean. And, it actually, it created a special bond, and it was like, hey, to Mr. Zach, that's a thing. And, I let him know, hey, no other house parents are allowed in my treasure box, not because I don't want to help them, but, I want to make sure that I regulate it the way that I think is fit. So, I mean, and some of y'all can do certain things like that. Like, I think that when as we talk about being individualized, I think it's kind of cool sometimes if house parents are individualized and we're not all seeing as robots. When I get messages from kids, it's never about, Mr. Zach, you made me follow them ranch protocols to perfection, right? It's that, hey, Mr. Zach, I miss our old Dunkin' runs and things like that. So, I mean, you can always individualize things, always ask your caseworkers to make sure that, hey, is it okay if I do this? Because there could be something within their treatment, like we don't want to do anything that's detrimental to their treatment goals or therapy goals or whatever. But it is, individualize yourself as house parents, and especially if we go to this phase system, it kind of probably fits a lot better with our phase system than what our level system did.
Does everybody understand progress reviews? Anybody have questions about that?
Treatment plans that are not-
No, so once a month, we get together, the caseworker and the therapist and the house parents, and that's when we go and we discuss the kids and are they progressing in the program or are they not? Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, just like a little extra.
Okay.
For the separate. I mean, we used to do them a while back, but then now we're doing it again.
Yeah.
It's the second last week.
That's honestly, that's the best time to get together to talk about the kids because we talk about each kid individually. What does this kid need? Does their goals need to change? Are they meeting their goals? Does it need tweaked a little bit? And the only way that we know is if house parents tell us because we're not up there all the time. We don't see what you guys see. So y'all are a vital part of the process.
And I will say maybe something that will help y'all a lot to try to understand the phase system, and it helped me whenever I kind of envisioned this, and we did all this fun training. Is I think about how I deal with Thea and Tyler, right? There's going to be things that I might get on to Thea about that I don't get on to Mila about because Thea might struggle with this, right? Thea, I'll be honest, and I call her, and if you think I'm a bad parent, that's fine. Thea's very whiny at times, right? Mila said this, Mila said that, right? Like it's like stop it, right? And so I'll get on to Thea like, hey, you know better than that. And then Thea's more of the brute forcer, right? Hey, Mila, I just watched you lay your hands on Thea. Like, stop that, right? And so when we think about our kids in our cottage,
there's gonna be things that, hey, we know this kid shouldn't, like, we're gonna be restricted. We know that a kid is, every time they have a cell phone in their hand, when we brought them here, we read their, their review of who they are, and we read that every time they get a cell phone in their hands, they're sending new pictures of themselves, right? That's something probably to know, and we're gonna construct a plan about it. So when we start talking about, hey, well, they did reach phase 4, this still might be a kid that, even though we say phase 4 kids get cell phones, we probably will be like, hey, this is probably not a good fit for this child. And so when you start doing that, we can actually start teaching these kids where they truly struggle from. That's the big thing of the escape, and we'll talk a little bit about that tomorrow, is meeting these kids where they are, teaching them, hey, this is where you struggle with. We want to help you break through that. The same thing as y'all as staff, right? It'd be very hard, and this is where the level system really failed, is if I judged and based every single one of y'all off of what Miss Angie does. Right? That doesn't work. And what it does is that it allows for us to look at our kids and say, hey, this is where you might need a little extra help where this kid doesn't. And so imagine each kid's, we do a fantastic job of treating these kids like they're our own. And this phase system really helps with that. And so, let your caseworkers know, hey, I truly, I don't think, especially some of you ladies, y'all have that mom instinct. I don't know how moms get it. They can also find stuff in the refrigerator that I can't find, right? It's a God-given ability. There might be even a gut feeling, hey, something isn't right here. Take it straight to your caseworkers, take it straight to Christy, take it to whoever you can take it to, because sometimes even with the gut feeling that something isn't right here, normally there's a little bit of reasoning behind that. So I think where this phase system is really cool, and I'll wrap up with this, is that it only works if we communicate and we document and we let each other know, hey, this is where I think this kid is at the time.
Does anybody else have any questions or understanding on something?
Or feedback.
Yeah. Or feedback. I appreciate feedback. The system's new. It's not flawed. Like there's flaws all in it. So if you guys tell us about them, we can fix them.
Is Damien's situation is it so personalized that we can't learn from it? Or is it something that we could implement a separate phase for somebody that's in his exact situation? Is that too broad of a question?
So Damien's thing is he needs consistency around the clock all the time. And the way one staff handles things, the next staff has to handle things pretty much the same way. And so it's with Damien's inconsistency, but his stream of plan is a little bit different than everybody else's. Like we can tweak it and things. Is that what you're asking?
Well, I was just wondering more about the next Damien that comes down the line. Is there something that we could work out now for Damien? So if we get another resident that's in his same situation, we could go ahead and not have to pioneer our way through their treatment plan, if that makes any sense.
Well, so
And can you give an example?
So for instance, maybe I don't know that we have found a really good thing for his tablet. Like he'll get it and then he'll lose it typically the same day for some reason that he gets it. So I don't know that that's very beneficial to him. If maybe we can work out a system for him that if you reach these goals, you maintain it for this time. I really don't know, but maybe we could implement that down the road. Like I'm just wondering, what can we learn from Damien that would help us be better suited for the next Damien that we get?
Well, Damien can be good for, 2-3 hours and then lose it for 10-20 minutes and then be good for 2.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that makes any sense.
I think what Caleb might be asking, tell me if I'm wrong, is that Damien's gonna struggle with our phase 4 requirements. The same ideas that we have for Isaac are gonna be ultimately still be different. And there's gonna be kids that we get that won't ever quite fit that phase 4, you know. And maybe, you know, I know Damien's on the spectrum, and that we're gonna get kids like that that might not be able to be trusted with the same responsibilities.
Yeah.
And so when they read that there's a phase 4 program for them, and then when they get there, they're like, hey, well, you can't do this, that.
So, like, to play, and he's.
Yes.
So here's one of the, I think. Maybe this answers your question. There are some things that we can help someone with. There's some things that we can help a kid with. There's some things we can't. There's an endpoint to what we could do with a certain child. I want to take it out of the kid realm for a moment, okay? I happen to know Caitlin's 5'2" because she told me yesterday. Right? Now I can take Caitlin out here into the gym. And do you like basketball? Okay, do you play basketball?
A little bit when I was younger.
Okay, but I take Caitlin out here to the gym and I give her a basketball. And I put her 3 feet from the goal and we stand there and we shoot until she can make a 3-foot shot. Okay? When she does that consistently, we move back to 10 feet and we're there until she's consistently making 10-footers. Okay? We go back to this free throw line 15 feet and we're there until she's consistently making 15-footers. We go back to the 3-point line and I got Caitlin shooting 3-pointers. Okay? Now, my next goal for Caitlin is for her to dunk the basketball. Is this a problem?
Yeah.
Is this a problem?
Big problem.
It's a problem.
It's too
For
short.
somebody that's 5'2", right? It's like, is this gonna happen?
Probably not. I mean, I want to limit
Is it
her.
possible
Yeah.
that she could get a 54-inch vertical? Yes, it's possible. Okay? I'm not gonna say it's not possible. Is it likely? No, I was never gonna get it, right? So here's the thing. If I have Caitlin, if she's shooting 3-pointers and making them, she's completed every goal that's possible for her. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
This is really important when you think about all these phases and where is a child in terms of what we can do for them. So is Damien ever, or are we capable of helping Damien improve that? Well, maybe. Okay. I don't think we know yet. Because autism is one of those things where, you know, there's dysregulation, there's when things are changed, it's upsetting and all those kind of things. That will mellow out more with the passage of time, mostly.
Yes, sir.
Right? So as he gets older, those things will get better. That's just how it is. Right. And so I think those are the questions that we have to ask. What is the capacity of this person to make improvements?
So will we base, and I understand that better, will we base his placement in the phase system on what he is actually able to acquire?
That's what we should be doing.
Okay, so he's different in the way that he already had completed a program when we started this program. So that's not something that we're facing.
It's gonna look very different.
So then, but,
Be a different phase.
but, so that's what I was kind of looking for, but it's not it's not something that we can implement moving forward. It's just when we get a Damien or we get a Toby or we get a Zach, we'll have to individualize that. That was kind of my question a little bit. Okay.
Now, to your other question, the first part of your question, though, I think there are lots of things to learn
Yes,
from
sir.
every child, right?
Yeah.
So we get another kid with an autism diagnosis. We know that, okay, because inconsistency is bad. It's just really bad, right? So we learn that for sure.
Yeah.
Did I answer? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I
I
did.
don't know if I helped or made it worse, but
No, it,
Speaking with Damien, just as my staff, you can tell his behaviors, they're gonna get bad anytime that there's a change in the cottage.
Mhm.
The rooms moved around. New kids coming and going, immediately I know he's gonna have a few bad days. I got this already.
He's
You guys-
practical routine.
Do you guys
His
like,
routine
warn
is
him?
practical.
Do you guys like warn him or give him like, hey, this is gonna happen, so he knows?
Room change, there's not much of a warning sometimes.
Right, like most of the cabin, I already knew it was gonna be bad.
Yeah,
Brennan coming in,
yeah,
you know, the thing came in.
Totally.
That's something maybe you guys.
Yeah, I think it's kind of, he didn't want to get him off, and it's not there, because he's always by himself. He was always, everybody down there was the same with him all the time.
Yeah,
And we very
he had a
seldom,
routine. Mhm.
and he really doesn't do well when a resident goes home,
Also staff.
whether it be a home visit or, you know, complete the
Mhm.
program. you want.
That's so sad.
So all that calls him, he is always up and down. and down.
Yeah,
so that's something that we could
Chaos.
learn is if we have another resident with a autism diagnosis, there's a pretty good chance that we'll have to put him in the most consistent environment that we have, so that those changes don't affect his behavior as much. Maybe that's something we could learn.
I think something to think about is the longer we do the phase system, the more molds that we have created.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying all kids are gonna fit together, but hey, we might know, hey, this worked really good with this kid last time that had similar things. We can try it. It might not work for that kid the same way. But you gotta think, 2 years from now, when we got the phase system, we're gonna have a lot more information with, hey, we can try this, we can try that, we can try this. Because we're gonna have more things accessible to us. So the next kid we get like Damien, we have a mold. Now, that mold might not hold that cake in place, but it does give us a starting point to say, hey, we can try it. It might not work, but it might.
Yeah.
So,
I think collaboration between staff and maybe even having like a Damien specific technically current would help with this inconsistency issue. Cause it would be, everybody would be communicating all around the week. What, you know,
Right.
And he could probably be involved too. Like, what about the nighttime is difficult for you? What about getting up in the morning is difficult to you? Not saying that we can cater to every single issue, but we could definitely make it a smoother transition.
is he even able to identify that though?
Well, here's the thing,
It'll-
sometimes even if there isn't an issue, and you say, what's the issue? He's gonna come up with an issue. Does that make sense? Like.
When it really wasn't the issue.
When there was nothing to begin with, it's just Damien didn't wanna get out of bed. Like Damien was tired, or whatever the situation may be, so. I mean, him even being involved in that, like, I don't think that would be realistic, really, because. Well, he's got school, you know, when we meet, Sunday nights, he's in bed. So I don't think that would,
I don't think it would be bad to, a kid like Damien, and y'all always have accessibility to this, is that sometimes we treat the checklist like, hey, you only get to see this on Sunday night. It's okay to sit down with some kids daily,
I'll still
be like, and you know, if we're documenting the way Amanda really needs us to, and our caseworkers need us to, then you got a pretty good indication of, hey, buddy, this is where you kind of dropped the ball yesterday. Can you, even sometimes asking the kid to do 10% better?
Yeah.
Like, I've always been told, especially like golf, if you tell a golfer to take off 60% of their swing, they're still probably gonna swing about 80%. Because in your head, it doesn't work out. If you ask a kid to, hey, why don't you try 10% better? You're probably gonna get actually 50% better effort than what they might have tried yesterday. And you always go daily with them, and you might not do it with all kids. Isaac probably doesn't need to see his, but once a week, unless he really screws up. But
I've started having them sit beside me while I do it, and I really do think, especially for the younger boys, and even Aaron, he was like, not that you guys didn't present his goals the way that he was supposed to on his checklist, but he's like, oh, I forgot that was one of my goals. So he's getting graded on a goal that he forgot about. So I'm not, and that's not on you guys at all, because he might not have listened in the first place. But I think that was beneficial that we just sit down literally side by side. I make sure it has their checklist pulled up. Obviously, I'm not showing them other people's. I was like, hey, all right, so this is what you're graded on. This is your goal number one. This is your goal number two. Your coping skills. Oh, that's a good coping skill. I forgot about that. Okay, great. Now you know it a little bit better. So I think that benefits it too.
I like that. I will say, like, I don't know how many of y'all know Bella, but we have her on right now. This week I've been talking to her a lot about her checklist, and she has improved. I don't know if you know what happened to us last week on our shift with her.
There was flying furniture and all kinds.
It was rough, but then this week she hugged me last. Like, so 180, complete 180.
I think that's a big difference. I think too that a bad week for her, to her, it just meant it was a bad week. But the next week when we came in and she was expecting us to just walk in with this hostility because of the situation that had happened the previous week. And I just walked in and I noticed they'd done a craft the night before and like, hey, can you tell me about this? And she was like really surprised. She almost looked confused, like, am I being tricked? And I was like, well, yeah, did you do the craft? And she's like, yeah, this one's mine. I was like, well, I thought that was the best one on here. That was yours. And she started telling me all about it. Suddenly it was like dealing with an entirely new kid because the situation, her screwing up last week, didn't change the way we felt about it long term. And she didn't know that that couldn't, she didn't know
yeah,
that
probably
really she was.
Yeah.
Probably never had that.
One of the things that I just made me think of, you know, I think one of the things that makes us love God more is the fact that we're restored and our relationship with Him is restored. And I think that restoration process is not only applies to our relationship with God, it applies to our relationship with each other.
Does anybody have anything else?
I have one more thing. I feel like I get hung up on this stuff all the time. For that, I apologize. But when we're talking about, like rewarding with like sodas and food and things like that, it's just like sending off alarm bells because I think in like the like client rights and stuff, it says that we're not supposed to do that. So how?
What do you mean?
We shouldn't use food as a reward or punishment because we shouldn't deprive the other kids of it.
Is you sure it's not just a punishment?
I am not.
We'll check it.
I believe it says restriction, we can't use that as punishment.
So when other kids are asking for it though too, and it actually is a problem at night for sure. When some kids are allowed to get up to get food. I have noticed that a lot at night. When we're coming in and certain kids are allowed to get into the kitchen to get food.
I'm confused by that. Cause they have snack and then they're supposed to go to bed and kitchen's closed.
It happens a lot, specifically at Kohler, I don't know. And then it's an issue, like, a lot of the kids are waiting for staff to go to bed to ask me because they've seen the other kids go into the kitchen when the staff are up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I had talked to Zach about it before, and we had talked about like having like approved snacks that I could give them.
Well, right now, every cottage should have fruits. And actually, we're not even doing snacks with the kids. Like if they have their own, like they should be getting their own snacks from the token store. Outside of that, if they want a banana, they want fruit at any point, they can get it. If they don't get it before going to bed, that's why it's supposed to be setting out. If they don't get it before going to bed, then that is like they had plenty of time to make sure. Like 8:30 shouldn't sneak up on them. Now if a kid, I'm not even worried about a kid coming out and getting a banana at that time. If they're that hungry, that's fine. My concern is them taking it back to their room and then leaving orange peelings in the floor.
Right.
More than I am worried about And that's why it is important as a staff, like, to make sure, even with TCI, we talk about prompting. Prompting is my favorite thing in the whole wide world. Because 8 o'clock, you're getting told 30 minutes till bedtime. Whatever you need to get, start getting it now. 8:15, hey, 15 minutes, come get it now. We're not doing other stuff afterwards, because at 8:30, it's room, start getting ready to get laid down for bed. 8:20, 8:25, and then of course at 8:30, like, all right, everybody had plenty of opportunities. I've reminded everybody in this house plenty of times. I've already dimmed all the lights, turned lights off, stuff like that. So that they know, hey, I should have gotten it before this time. Now, depending on how hard you want to be, I think kids need to make sure, ultimately, they're not going to starve if they didn't get it. But hey, please get, and you might even tell that kid next night, hey, you're gonna be hungry again, eat now. And try to work with them.
Well, that's where the issue comes in with it is, you come in and this kid's hungry and they're in the kitchen to get a drink, or they're in there to get whatever, and they're grabbing, they're making 2 or 3 sandwiches. Or, one staff is allowing them to do that. They take it to their room, and then their roommate gets hungry, and then they're out, and then this.
Well, that's actually a thing. I'm getting ready to go over a whole bunch of stuff.
Okay.
Jared, actually, probably getting ready to go.
Yeah.
Is that first off, they shouldn't be in the kitchen without staff in there ever. That's a very big issue. They shouldn't be in the refrigerators without staff knowing, and I'll kind of go through some of that stuff here in a minute. And they shouldn't have food in their rooms. And so these are a lot of things that we're getting relaxed about, and we're seeing big issues because of it. And I have like a whole list that I'm just
We'll
gonna
get to
go
that.
with everybody. But that is actually one of the things I already have typed up in my computer
Good,
right now.
it's good that you brought it up.
I do want to add one thing to that. So as far as being individualized, I love that as staff. However, the schedule and the routine should never change between staff and staff. Like if you don't, kids thrive off of schedule and routine. And so if they know at 7 p.m. to 8:30, they can make a phone call. From 8 to 8:30, they can do snack. I don't really know the time, so I'm just throwing out some stuff. They know when study hall time is. They know at this time they're supposed to go in the dining room and be doing homework. They thrive off that. If you do that every single day, then it just kind of becomes, they get accustomed to it and they just do it. But if you're doing stuff at different times, some people have dinner at 4, some people have it at 7. It doesn't work that way. It can't, because the kids don't get used to it. Does that make sense?
And earlier we were talking about how it's really great that we're individualizing, like with Caleb with the tabs things, that's great. But I think where the problem is when one staff is allowing residents to do things that they really shouldn't be doing, and then the other staff in the same cottage are not allowing, and then it just creates confusion ultimately. And kids.
It's gotta be confusing for the kids.
Yeah, I mean, they're already at that age where they're manipulating a little bit.
Yeah.
So like they're gonna use it. Yeah,
Like I said, Damien does better with
yeah,
structure, and it's definitely.
All kids do. It's not just Damien. It's
Right.
every kid. It's better with structure.
did you still want to do the thing?
But I can go over that next time.
Okay.
During,
Okay.
tomorrow during us.
Okay.
That will be the ice skate portion of that.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
Do you want to take like a 5-minute break for people?
If they want to go use the bathroom.
Why don't you guys take 5 and use the restroom or whatever, and when we come back, Mr. Zach will do his part.
I know.
I thought it just looks like
At least I think that was.